Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Keep It Pro training call brought to you by Networking Wisdom each and every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific for the past 5 years. The purpose of this call is not only to learn skills for success in business and network marketing, but also in life. Thank you for joining us. My name is Meredith, and I have the honor and privilege to introduce the creator and host, Mr. Romacio Fulcher. Romacio is a well-sought-after leader, trainer, and coach, as well as a very successful international entrepreneur. At the age of 25 years old, he made his first millions in mortgage and real estate. Shortly afterwards, he was introduced to network marketing. Because he was the ideal student and learned from the best, he quickly rose to the top. In fact, he's been one of the top 50 MLM income earners in the entire world. He has over 750,000 people in his organization and has done over $1 billion in sales. He knows how to make money, and he knows how to make it fast. He loves to have fun, but most of all, he loves to share the wisdom he has gained over the years. In fact, he has helped countless individuals make life-changing income all over the world. What I love most about Romacio is his ability to know exactly what his audience needs to hear each and every time he speaks. I highly suggest that you find a quiet place and grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to take notes and remember these nuggets of wisdom he's going to share today. Without further ado, here's your millionaire mentor, marketplace minister, the California kid, Mr. Romacio Fulcher. Are you there?
Absolutely. I am here. Thank you so much, Meredith, for stepping up and being our host today. I want to welcome everybody back again to another edition of the Keep It Pro Sunday training call. Guys, we've been doing this for over 5.5 years. This call has definitely changed many people's lives. I want to highly encourage you, if this is your first time, continue to tune in to us every single Sunday. We're right here on this line. And we teach two specific things, week in and week out. Number one, we teach you the specific skills that you need to get yourself to the very top of whatever company it is that you're promoting. Did you know that the word promotion means to make known? It means to make known. That's what the word promote means. And so we teach you the specific skills. There's really 7 skills that you should have a goal to master to be able to take you to the top of whatever it is that you are promoting. The second thing that we teach you on Sundays is we teach you life skills as well. We believe that as you grow, everything else around you will automatically grow as well. If you haven't noticed by now, whether you're a child or whether you're a seasoned adult, really doesn't make no difference. Your entire life is a reflection of you and your beliefs. So in other words, as you grow, as your perspective grows, let me ask you a question before we even get into today's topic. Are you growing? Seriously. It's just a serious, simple question. Are you growing? And I don't mean your height. I don't mean your weight. I'm talking about your mental perspective. Is it the same as it's been for the last 30 years? Or have you grown? Are you growing? Well, you know the old adage, if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not climbing, you're sliding, right? So again, the purpose of this call, it's absolutely free. We don't check the call logs. We don't care what company you're with. We don't care what you're promoting. We just don't care. That's not our mission. Our mission is very simple, and it's quite clear. We believe what we make happen for others, God will gladly make it happen for us. One more time. We believe what we make happen for others, God will gladly make it happen for us. And so the focus on this call, guys, is we're literally making a contribution into you, absolutely free. You know, being an entrepreneur is never easy. Being an entrepreneur is never easy. I'm going to say it one more time for the third time. Being an entrepreneur is never easy, but it's truly, truly worth it. I can't tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that I have all the answers. I'm not a genie. I'm not the wisest man to ever live. I make mistakes every single day. But what I can tell you, I'm authentic. I'm real. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to keep it real. You know, you're going to get that from me. And I promise you, they say that faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God. What we try and do on this call is we try and, when we address certain topics, we try and approach the topics both from a spiritual perspective, so you can understand the root of what we're talking about and where we're coming from, but also we try and hit it from a natural perspective. In other words, add color to that thing, bring it right in front of your life, right in front of your face so you can see it in real color as it relates to you. And that's what this call is all about. So come one, come all. We're not into the whole fanfare. We could care less if there's one person listening via YouTube or live, or if there's billions of people listening. Listen, write this down, please. You can't afford to forget this. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm gonna say it again. You can count the seeds inside of an apple. What's that mean? You can literally take a knife, cut an apple open, and you can physically count the seeds inside of an apple. But let me tell you what you cannot count. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot count the apples inside of a seed. In other words, what that means is you never underestimate the power of just one person. And that's where you come in. That's why I'm glad you're here. It only takes one person, baby, to start a barn fire. It only takes one person. When I hear the introduction week in and week out, man, it's amazing to me when I hear somebody kind of replay some of the success that I've had in my days here in sales and marketing. And somebody says, hey, man, you've done over billions of dollars in sales. Do you know, guys, there was once upon a time where I just couldn't even fathom when I doing $1 billion+ in sales from scratch. Are you kidding me? It's just amazing to hear that. It's amazing to hear that. And again, I'm not trying to toot my horn. What I'm saying is, by iron sharpens iron, by being on these types of calls, absolutely free, every single week, I promise you there's something that can help you grow. There's something that can challenge you. I promise you, it will stretch you. And next thing you know, you'll find yourself doing bigger and better things. And so, again, we're welcoming you here today, guys, and definitely let your friends know it's absolutely free, and we're not going nowhere. We're going to be here, okay? Hey, well, listen, today I've got a very, very, very tall task. Today, earlier this week, my spirit told me to really teach on this call something that I've been doing for about the last 15 years. It's a very, very, very important topic that we're about to talk about today. And I remember when my spirit told me to teach on this, I said, man, that's going to be hard to teach. And I usually don't say that. I usually do not say, oh, it's going to be hard to teach. Because what I'm going to talk about right now, this is something that relates to every area of your life. So whether we're talking about spirituality and you being more spiritual, whether we're talking about health, you being healthier, whether we're talking about relationships, whether we're talking about parenting, whether we're talking about business ventures, you starting a business or being in business, it really doesn't matter what we're talking about. What I'm about to teach you right now, listen to me, I'm serious. I mean, so, matter of fact, if you're doing something, let me ask you politely, can you stop? Are you in a position where you could stop whatever you're doing and really tune into this? Really tune into this. Most oftentimes, people, they underestimate the value of free information. Ooh, say that again. Most times, people underestimate the value of free information. We have been programmed as a people to believe if something is valuable, you should be charging a whole bunch of money for it. Well, how come God did not charge you for your lungs? How come God did not charge you for your eyesight and your heart and your feet? How come he didn't charge you? You see, the most valuable things that have been given to you, believe it or not, they were given to you absolutely free. So with that in mind, I want you to pay attention to what we're about to talk about right now. I'm telling you, I'm about to give you, where I come from East Oakland, that's where I was born. I'm about to give you some free game, as they say. I'm about to give you some free game. Growing up in the hood where I come from, oh, man, like the OGs say, hey, man, I'm about to put you up on game. And what does that mean? I'm about to teach you something right now that literally only the 1%ers know this. Only the 1%ers know this. So I don't care who you are, where you are in the world, if you're bumping into this audio right now, let's say 2 months from now, 3 months from now, because today is what, September the 5th or something like that, 2021. If you're listening live, I'm telling you, you better pay attention to this message right here. I'm about to literally teach you something that if you will open your heart and receive this, you got to receive it. To hear it doesn't do you any good. You've got to make it up in your mind right now that I'm about to say something that literally, if you allow it to, it will immediately begin to change your life. You say, well, how do you know? When you change your perspective, that's when your life changes. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me say it again. When you change your perspective, that's when your life changes. Hello, is anybody listening? Would you put down the pancakes? Listen to me. I'm going to say it again. When you change your perspective, what does that mean? What that means is when you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things will finally change. So everything about your life, in reality, it's about your perspective. So when you change the way that you look at something, what that does, ladies and gentlemen, it now changes the way you approach things. It changes your attitude. It changes your actions towards it. Hello, I'm going to say it again. It's very simple. You don't got to read no book. This is what it is, baby. This is 14 karat gold. One more time. When you change your perspective, you change your life. So whether we're talking spirituality, whether we're talking business, personal, relationship, health, no matter what we're talking about, what it is, ladies and gentlemen, it's about your perspective. It's about your perspective. So if you're stuck in a rut, things aren't happening, clicking the way you want to, I promise you, I already know what the problem is. It's your perspective. It's your perspective. Matter of fact, do me a favor. Write it down right now, everybody. It's my perspective. The problem is my perspective. Write that down. Before we even begin, the problem is my perspective. And what I'm getting ready to teach you right now is something that only the 1%ers out there in life know. Now, I know some of you probably already turning up your nose even before we even get started. Well, what's he going to say? Let me see if I've heard this before. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, just please stop with all that nonsense in your head. I'm going to teach you the 1%ers. I'm going to teach you something that only the 1%ers know. All right, here we go. Let's dive in. You got a pen and paper? If you do, great. If you don't, re-listen to the audio and take notes then, okay? Here we go. So the theme of this call is called positioning, number one, and then number two is precedence. Positioning, number one, and number two, precedence. Positioning and precedence. I'm going to show you how these two simple words apply to everything in your entire life. When it comes to you being successful, whether you knew it or not, these are the two most important words for you obtaining success, number one, and number two, for you sustaining success. Anybody can obtain something, but can you do it again and again and again? In other words, can you be consistent? So once again, whether you knew it or not, these two words I'm teaching you today, the power of positioning, number one, and number two, precedence. Precedence. I'm going to show you how these two simple words apply to every area of your life, all right? I'm going to give you various different illustrations to prove my point so that you'll be able to clearly understand that if you would just understand the power of positioning, number one, and then number two, the power of precedence. If you get these two things right, I'm telling you, these are the hidden details that the 1%ers know, the 1%ers. Now, before we talk about the 1%ers, let's go into the 99%, and let me tell you how they think. And I want to caution you, or I want to warn you before we even begin, I'm going to say some things that are radically different than probably what you have already heard or what you're used to. So the 99%ers, here's what you've been told. Here's what people have told you. Well, if you just work hard, I promise you, you're going to be really successful. All you have to do is just work hard. Just keep grinding. Just keep grinding. Just keep grinding. Just work hard. Just work hard. Just keep grinding. And they're telling you that all you have to do is work hard to attain success. And I'm going to be honest with you, that is a lie. That's a lie. That's not the whole truth. We live in a very competitive world that just because you work hard does not guarantee your success. Let me prove it to you. Do you know some people that have worked very hard in their life, but they still have not been able to attain the monetary level of success that they would have liked to have? Do you know some people like that? Most of you are saying, absolutely. Some of you are saying, yeah, me. So it's not that you didn't work hard. You did work hard. But why didn't it happen for those people? And that's why I'm telling you, it's not true. It's not the whole truth when people tell you all you have to do is just work hard. That's what the 99% of most people, that's what they believe. Well, just work hard and you'll be successful. Just work hard and you'll be successful. It's almost like it's a cliche. It's almost like it's something that people just say when they don't know what to say. So let me just repeat what I've heard. Just work hard and you'll be successful. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to work hard to attain success. You do have to work hard, but that's not all you have to do. And so 99% of the world, they believe that's all you got to do. Just work hard. Just keep grinding. Just keep grinding. Just keep grinding. Just keep working. Just keep going. That's not the truth. Now, what I'm going to give you today, for some of you, it's challenging your perspective. And we already talked about when your perspective changes, that's when your life changes. So what I'm going to give you today, guys, is a different way of looking at it. I'm going to tell you what the 1%ers, how we think. All right? You ready? Write this down. Don't ever forget this. Put this in a safe place. And I want you to revisit this. I want you to re-look at this. Don't just hear it today. I want you to hear this, meditate on this, pray on this. Perhaps me speaking this right now is confirmation to you. Okay? Doesn't matter your age. Doesn't matter your race. Doesn't matter where you live in the world. Here we go. This is what the 1%ers, this is what we believe. 80% of your success comes from your mindset and your strategy. And 20% of your success comes from hard work. One more time. 80% of your success comes from your mindset. Your mindset. And your strategy. You got to catch that. Mindset and strategy. 20% of your success comes from hard work. See, 99% of people believe, no, that's not true, Moss. 80% of your success is from hard work, and 20% is from strategy and mindset. No, it's backwards. That's absolutely inaccurate. It's wrong. 80% comes from mindset and strategy, and 20% comes from hard work. Now, let's go ahead and add some color to that. We already talked about earlier that you know a whole bunch of people who work hard who still aren't where they want to be. So we now know, you got evidence to prove the fact that hard work is not just it. I know people have been working 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, very hard, but still not where they want to be. So that's not it. Okay? Now, I want to show you something. And I'm trying to give you some simple examples here because this is a very tough subject to teach over the phone, but I believe with the Holy Spirit guiding me, I believe I'll be successful in accomplishing this today. So when you look at, many of you have heard this old adage before, you know, if I give a man an axe and tell him to chop down a tree, the guy starts chopping at the tree, and eventually, before you know it, he'll chop the tree down. You give another man an axe, he says, hold on, I'm going to take 4 hours to sharpen my axe before I start chopping the tree. So you got two men, their goal is to chop down a tree. They both have an axe in their hand. One of them says, I'm just going to start working on it. I'm just going to put in hard work. I'm just going to start chopping, and eventually that tree will come down, and that's true. The other guy who's working smarter, he says, you know what? No, hold on. I'm going to take 4 hours out of the 5 hours you gave me to chop down this tree. I'm going to take 4 hours, and I'm going to work on my strategy by way of sharpening my axe. So for every cut that I take, I'm going to be hitting much deeper. I'm going to be hitting much more precise. Now, see, this is where I want you taking notes, ladies and gentlemen. The difference between the two men, they're both chopping with an axe, and they're both trying to chop down a tree. One of them is putting more emphasis in details by way of sharpening their axe, while the other one is just relying on sheer brute strength and hard work. And the difference there is, I told you, if you really, really want to achieve major success, big success, you've got to understand that 80% of your success is coming from your mindset and your strategy, while 20% is only going to come from hard work. So there I just gave you an example of you had two men, they had 5 hours to chop down a tree. One of them just took the axe and just started swinging. The other one said, hold on, wait a minute. I'm going to take 4 hours and sharpen my axe before I take my first swing. And as a result, which one do you think got the tree down faster? The one that actually spent 4 hours sharpening his axe. Now, you may be thinking, well, how does this relate to my life? It relates to your life. Write this word down. Details do matter. Details do matter. Details do matter. So again, when we're going to talk about our very first word, guys, we're going to talk about the word positioning. And I want you to write this sentence down. You have to position yourself to be successful. I love how one of my favorite rappers of all time, for those of you that like rap music, the late Tupac Shakur, he said you have to position yourself to make G's. He's talking about making money. You have to position yourself first. So what I want to share with you is that the 1%ers out there, we understand the value of putting yourself in the right position first. Now, let's talk about spirituality. This is going to be deep, ladies and gentlemen. All of us, most of us love God, right? And we believe in God, right? But do you know that most of us don't even know that God has already established a set of rules for how the kingdom, God's kingdom, is to be ran? He's already established. In other words, before you and I were born, there were already rules in place on how the kingdom is to be ran. And you say, well, why did God do that? Well, he did that because he knew the moment he gave all power over to man, he knew men was flawed. He knew men was flawed. He knew that men were going to try and do this and twist it and manipulate it and do it this way and do it that way. And that's what creates confusion. So God said, no, I'll tell you what. He's going to set up the rules before we were even born. Now, the reason I bring this up to you is because that's point number one. The rules on how the kingdom is to be ran. Now, what does that mean? So I don't want to confuse anybody. In other words, if you really want to understand how spiritual principles truly work in your favor, all of them, I'm talking about all of them, from attaining wealth to being healed to, just everything, anything, relationships, everything. There are a set of rules that have already been written in the Bible that literally will teach you exactly what to do and what to expect to be able to have success in those areas. That's my first point. Now, I want you to circle that. So I just told you there's already rules already written. It's already in place. So you don't have to go searching and scratching your head trying to figure it out. It's already been figured out, okay? But 99% of people don't believe that. So 99% of people say, you know what? I'm going to go figure this out on my own. As if you're the first one to have this challenge in your life. You're the first one to have this problem in your life. You're the only person to ever experience what it is you're going through. No one else in the world has ever had cancer. No one else in the world has ever gone through divorce. No one else in the world has ever been broke. No one else has ever been dumped. You're the only one. This is what 99% of people feel, which is not true. And so the one percenters, what they'll do is they want to go and learn what the rules are for prosperity. Learn what the rules are for healing. Learn what the rules are for kindness. Learn what the rules are when people do you wrong. Learn what the rules are on how to take the high road in life. Learn what the rules are. You say, well, why do they want to learn that stuff? The reason why the one percenters want to go learn that stuff is because they want to know how to position themselves to be successful in that area. We're talking about spirituality right now, although this applies to everything. I'm going to say that again. The one percenters want to know, what do I have to do to position myself to have what it is that I want to have? So, for example, if you want a deeper relationship with Christ, or whatever it is you want more power. You want to have spiritual giftings that literally are just above average. There's so much. So, what you have to learn how to do is put yourself in a position. And what I'm trying to share with you, God has already created a set of rules, and all you have to do is read them and begin to start following them. And by you following them, you are putting yourself in position to experience what it is that he told you would experience. You're putting yourself in position. Okay? Now, that was from a spiritual perspective. Let's talk about the same principle. Once again, we're talking about positioning. Let's go ahead and talk about from a health perspective. I want you to imagine a person who's just majorly overweight. And I'm talking about not overweight due to medical issues, just overweight due to laziness, just complete gluttony, laziness, just giving up on life, depressed, and just a mess. Just eat whatever they want when they want, don't even care. Okay, all right. So this person here says, okay, wait a minute, I want to change this, and I want to change this. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you two different people. Both of them are overweight, massively overweight. One of them says, watch this. I want you to listen. Pay attention. Remember, when your perspective changes, your life changes. Remember this, okay? Person A says, you know what? I'm massively overweight. Here's what I'm going to do. You know what? Forget this, man. Give me a treadmill. I'm going straight for the treadmill. I'm going to get on it. I'm just going to start walking. I'm going to start working hard. I'm just going to start working hard. Put my little bandana on, and I'm just going to start working hard. And you know what? I'm just going to start working hard, and I'm going to figure this thing out. And I'm saying to you, listen, nothing is wrong with that, but I'm also sharing with you there's a better way. There's a more efficient way. Person B says, you know what? I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to get all my hormones checked because I'm an older person right now. I'm in my 50s. I'm going to get my hormones checked, and I want to go ahead and put together a strategic plan in place for my body, my blood type, and based upon what how my body can function in terms of what I'm able to do. Maybe I might have some ailments, maybe I don't, but I want to get an eating plan. I'm also going to get a workout plan that's worked for me. I'm going to make sure if I need hormone replacement therapy, if I need that, I'll get that if I need it. I'm going to really look at the details. I'm going to look at I'm going to have the doctor look at my blood sugar. I'm going to have him check my thyroid levels. These are the things that matter when you talk about losing weight, right? I'm going to have him look at my testosterone level. Okay, so person B is putting themselves in a position so that they can experience weight loss much faster than person A. Person A is just saying, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to take a few things that I heard from some of my friends that told me. I'm going to eat some carrots, eat some broccoli, and I'm just going to start working out, girl. I'm just going to start going to cycling class, and I'm just going to start doing something. And listen, there's nothing wrong with doing something versus nothing. But what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about being a 1%er. We're talking about putting 80% of your energy into your mindset and your strategy, and then secondly, putting 20% of your energy into hard work, meaning physically doing the thing, whatever the thing is. You see the difference? The difference is person B is more strategic. Person B is putting themselves in position. They're putting themselves in a better position. Okay? So I just gave you a health example. Let's keep going. This will be a little cute one for you. Let's give you this is gonna be good. This is gonna be real good. Okay, let's talk about relationships or dating. And let's just say I'm gonna talk from a male to a female perspective first, and then we'll go female to male. So from a male to a female perspective, let's say the girl's name is Tatiana. Let's call her Tatiana. There you go. And this is a girl that you're trying to get next to. Your name is Charles, and Charles is trying to get next to Tatiana, and he doesn't know this Tatiana girl, and he just he sees her walking around out in public someplace, and Charles he's coming from the philosophy of, man, I'm just gonna go after the numbers. I'm just gonna start talking to as many girls as possible, and if somebody gonna give me their phone number. But in this case, Charles is really interested in this Tatiana girl. So he doesn't know what to do other than I'm gonna use hard work. I'm just gonna go up to her and just gonna start opening my mouth. I'm just gonna tap her on the shoulder. So here they are, they're in public. Charles doesn't know Tatiana at all, never seen her. They don't know each other, and he just, excuse me, ma'am, can you stop for a minute? I'd like to talk to you. And that's his approach. And for some people that works. While a lot of people that may not work. Tatiana was busy. She was focused. She was going where she needed to go. And here it is. Somebody is randomly tapping her on the shoulder, saying, "Ma'am, can you stop? I'd like to talk to you for a minute. You're beautiful." He gives her a compliment, whatever, and he tries to get her phone number to take her on a date in the future. And let's just say that in some cases that can work. It can sometimes. That's person A. But I want to show you how person B operates, the 1%er. The 1%er understands that he has got to be in position to be able to have a greater chance at having a conversation with this Tatiana girl. So, for example, person B realizes, can you guys still hear me? I think you can. So person B realizes that this Tatiana girl, she walks on this pathway, 3-4 times a week. And they happen to cross each other's paths generally all the time. And so what person B is going to do, person B is going to put themselves in a position where they see this lady walking all the time, and perhaps now, because they see each other so frequently, it won't feel so weird for them to actually speak to one another. Whereas person A, he abruptly spoke to this Tatiana lady, and it made her feel uncomfortable because she doesn't know him. She's not familiar with him. So it just feels really weird. The difference is person B is putting themselves in a position. They're positioning themselves. Now, I'm giving you this kind of cute little example here, but I want you to really understand what I'm saying. The difference is one person is being a little bit more strategic about their approach, while the other person is just, hey, man, hard work. And what I'm telling you is the 1%ers understand the value of positioning yourself. This applies. I just now gave you 3 examples. I gave you a spiritual example. I gave you a health example. I've given you a relationship example. And I'll give you a business example, okay? The same thing applies, okay? For those of you that are in marketing and sales or any type of business, it doesn't matter what it is. Some of you, okay, let's talk about marketing or sales or network marketing or anything sales related, okay? Some of you have been told, hey, just go out there and just talk to people. Just keep talking to people. Just keep talking, and one day you'll find somebody interested in your product or your service that you sell. That's all you've been told. and they'll just tell you, high activity, just keep talking to people, just keep talking. Let's go talk to people. When people tell you that, that is what I call the hard work mentality. Just keep talking, and one day you'll find somebody. One day. How does that make you feel to know, you know what, this goal you have in mind, one day it's going to happen for you? Man, how does that make you feel? It doesn't make you feel too good, does it? Because it sounds so far away. There's no specifics tied to it. It's just generality. Just go out there, and one day it'll happen for you. That doesn't make me feel good. Let me share with you what the 1%ers do, okay? I don't care what it is you're selling. As long as what you're selling is legal, moral, and ethical, and it really does solve problems for people, let me tell you what your numbers are going to be. If you're really, let's just say if you're horrible, like you suck at it, you're just the worst of the worst. Let me give you some specifics. You're going to need to talk to 20 people, and out of the 20, you'll get one person that says, yes, I'll try your thing. This is if you're just absolutely the worst of the worst. 1 out of 20 is what you can expect to capture or to get. If you're bad at it, 1 out of 10. If you're horrible, 1 out of 20. You see the difference? The difference is now, I can actually, as a professional, I can tell you with details and specifics for you to make X amount of income or for you to build whatever size team or organization you're trying to build. I can now give you some specifics that you can work with and know that this is what you can expect. You see the difference? So now when I got to go out there and talk to, let's say if I'm looking to build a team in this example, or let's say I'm looking to get 5 customers to try my product or service. If I'm looking to get 5 and I know that I'm really horrible, well, I already know I've got to go talk to 100 people because 1 out of every 20 is what I'm going to get. 5 times 20 is 100. So now I know with specifics of what it's going to take for me to achieve what I'm looking to achieve versus just keep going, man. Just keep talking to people. Just keep talking to everybody. Just keep going. Do you see the difference? See, now when I know what exactly it's going to take for me to achieve what I'm looking to achieve, now I can work with a sense of purpose. Now I'm excited because I can see the end from the beginning. I now know what it's going to take versus just, hey, man, just keep going. Just hard work, just keep going. No. Let me tell you why 1%ers don't like that approach. Because 1%ers understand the most valuable thing in life is our time. And our time is what we cannot get back. Now, we understand from a spiritual perspective that 1,000 years is of 1 hour to God. We understand that from a spiritual perspective. Hello, but we live in the real world. And in the real world, we need real numbers to be able to build or achieve what it is that we're looking to do. And we have to use wisdom. Okay? So in the real world, we have to use wisdom. And this is where it doesn't make sense just to go put all that hard work, hoping to one day get to where you're trying to go. What makes more sense is to use your brain. See the difference between you and the elephant, the difference between you and the whale, the difference between you and the lion, the difference between you and the snake, the difference between you and the frog, the difference between you and animals is God gave you a brain. That is the difference. He gave you a brain. You have the ability to think deep, to think cross-laterally. You have the ability to think. And this is what most of us don't want to do, but the 1%ers out there, this is what we love to do. We love to stop and think. And we think about, okay, do we have the right mindset? What does that mean when somebody says, do you have the right mindset? What it means is, do you have the right expectations? For example, you've never made $1 million and you want to make $1 million and you're telling yourself, hey, I'm going to make $1 million in 90 days. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I was your coach, no, that's setting you up for failure. That's not the right mindset. That's not the right mindset to give you false expectations of you're going to make $1 million in 90 days. That's the wrong mindset. No. So mindset really means, are you approaching whatever it is you're approaching with the right mental philosophies, with the right perspective? Are you looking at it the right way? If somebody's telling you, hey, man, I'm going to build a team and I'm going to go talk to 5 people, and out of the 5, I'm going to get 2 people or 3 people every time. See, that's wrong. You say, well, how do you know that's wrong? I've built a gigantic team of 700,000 people in my team. And that's not how I built it. That's not how it's going to work. It's not true. So you don't want to begin. You see the wisdom there? You don't want to do something under the wrong pretense. That's why it's always good to have a mentor. It's always good to have a coach, somebody that's already achieved what it is that you want to achieve. And even if you're trying to defy the odds and do something that's never been done before in the world, my hat's off to you. So let's just say you're trying to do something that no man's ever done before, which is great, which is wonderful. Even then, you still want to make sure you have the right mindset, and you want to make sure you have the right strategy. This is what the 1%ers do. We hate, and I mean capital HATE, we hate wasting time. We hate it. So what we're talking about, guys, here through all of these illustrations that I've just given you, I'm really attacking the word positioning. I'm really trying to put it in front of your face on how to position yourself for what it is that you want. This is really, really important. And I understand we're crossing many different spectrums right now: spirituality, health, relationships, business, because it applies to all. But what I'm going to do for the last 20, 30 minutes of our call, I want to zone into business. Okay? I want to really take these 2 concepts of positioning and precedence, and I'm going to slam it. I'm going to hit it hard right now. I really want you to see this, because this right here, if you can take this call right here and really make this shift, this is a major shift. This is a gigantic shift for you, and I promise you, life won't ever be the same for you again. Okay? It won't ever be the same for you again. It won't ever be the same for you again. So let's take it. We're now going to just focus on purely business now, okay? So now, when we're looking at business, we've really talked about positioning. Let me ask you some questions. Are you now able to see the difference between the person who just says, I'm just going to work hard and one day achieve my goal, versus the person who says, you know what, I'm going to work smarter versus harder? Working smarter means making sure you have the right mindset. And every time I say that word, right mindset, that means the right mental perspective towards what you're doing. The right mental perspective towards what you're doing. That's number 1. Number 2, do you have the right strategy? The right strategy. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, well, how do I know if I have the right strategy? Write this down. It's really simple. It's called sensory acuity. It means to have an acute sense of what you're doing. Is it bringing you closer towards what you want or not? Let's go back to the example of the girl, Charles and Tatiana. One guy is just randomly trying to go up to these girls and talk to them, and nobody's giving them the time of day. Well, you would think Charles would notice, hey, man, his strategy is not working. So you need to change your approach. Try something different. And then once you change your approach, you're now going to gauge. You're going to notice, that's what it means, sensory acuity. You're going to notice, is that approach bringing you closer towards what you want, or is it taking you further away? That's what it means to have an acute sense, sensory acuity, right? So, again, are you able to see the difference between these two now? I want to be, as we dive deeper into business here for the last 20, 30 minutes, I want to make sure that you're able to see the difference. Do you know some people that are person A? They just believe in hard work, 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 hard work. Do you know some people like that? Okay? I know a bunch of people like that. While person B, no. They believe making sure they have the right mindset and the right strategy. And let me give you a cheat sheet on how person B operates. Person B, they always look for a coach. Somebody, a coach or a mentor, somebody that's already done it, Now they have a clear picture in front of them of what it's going to take. Because this person that's coaching them has already been to the mountaintop. They've already achieved that. They've already achieved that thing. They've already done it. So now that's where the wise counsel comes in. Bible teaches us about that, about having wise counsel. It's hard to listen to someone. Matter of fact, I can tell you right now, I will not listen to you. I won't even hear you out if you have not achieved what it is that you're trying to teach me that I can achieve. You should just stop talking. There's no point in me wasting any of my time listening to somebody who hadn't even got out of bed, who hadn't even attempted the thing, and you want to try and give me counsel? Man, you better hush your mouth. I won't even listen to you. You're not qualified to talk to me. Okay? And I won't listen to the person who, oh, Romacio, man, you doing this week, and oh man, back in 2 years ago you was doing that, man, and I don't know what, man. Every time I see you doing something different. I won't listen to a person who talks to me like that. I won't. Here it is, I'm fighting for my dream, and I'm changing my strategy or changing my approach, doing this, doing that, and here it is, you still doing the same old flipping the burgers for the last 30 years. What I'm saying is, again, right mindset, right strategy. Part of having the right mindset is knowing who to listen to. And I want to give you some good, wise advice. Don't listen to people that have not achieved what it is that you want to achieve. Here it is, you trying to stay married for 20, 30 years, and you listen to Freddie Fred over here. You listen to Freddie Fred, and Freddie Fred he's 60 years old, and he's never been married. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to listen to a person like that, right? Okay? So now, let's focus in on business here. So now, as we focus in on business, I now want to teach you the second piece of this phone call. Remember, we talked about this call is about how to position yourself, number one. Do you have a better understanding of the word positioning? Do you understand how the word positioning yourself applies to dating? Do you understand how the word positioning applies to having a better health, having better spirituality, having a better business, having better relationships in your community, on your job? Do you understand how you have to put yourself in the position first? I want you to think of, and I'm going to give you a rare example. Let's say you wanted to be a doctor. You got to go to school. You got to get certain grades. You then got to go to get your PhD. You got to go to get your master's, then get your PhD, right? And then from there, you got to go to residency school. You see all these things you have to do? What are you doing? You're doing all these things to put yourself in a position to qualify to be a what? A doctor. Okay? And I know not everybody listening wants to be a doctor. I want you to catch the point of what I'm saying. Is this making sense to you? Are you really, really starting to understand the power of positioning yourself? Now, the faster way of just learning, because I know some of you are thinking, oh, this is such good information, but how do I, what's the shortcut? The shortcut is to having a coach and a mentor. Having a coach and a mentor, and that is the true shortcut. A coach and a mentor, a good coach and a mentor, that's your shortcut. They've already done it, they know how to do it, and they can teach you how to even do it faster. But you have to humble yourself, and you have to take wise counsel, okay? All right, so I think we've done a great job of really, really tackling the power of positioning yourself. Now, we're talking about being successful. Now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to talk about the second part, which is the word precedence. We're going to talk about how this plays a major role in you sustaining success. See, positioning yourself will allow you to get in a position to obtain success spiritually, to obtain good health, to obtain the girl or the man of your dreams, to obtain the business. It'll get you there, right? Putting yourself in a position will get you there. But when we talk about this word precedence, my favorite word. It is my favorite word, okay? When we talk about precedence, this is what's going to keep you consistent. Write that down. Precedence. And I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give you all I've got on this call. I'm going to lay it all out for you right here. This is why I want you to re-listen to this one. I want to talk to you about precedence. Okay? I'm not going to give you the dictionary version of what precedence means. No, I'm going to give it to you in black and white. I'm going to make it real clear for you. Precedence, in my eyes, means to establish this is the way things are done. Woo! Say it again. Precedence means, to me, I'm not saying this is in the dictionary, but this is how I make sense of the word precedent. It means to establish of this is our reputation. This is how we do things. This is how it's done. Let me give you an example. So I'm going to make it real for you. In my family, my mom, dad, grandparents, the precedence that's established in our family's culture, we are Christians. We believe in God. Okay? We believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And literally, we believe in going to church and reading the Bible and living. This is where I come from. This is the precedent that's established in my family. And on Sundays, obviously, before COVID and all that stuff, we going to church. That's what I grew up under, right? That was the precedence. We don't be cussing and saying all these cuss words in the house. Now, obviously, I make mistakes all the time, as an adult, but I'm just trying to share with you, this is what I came up under, okay? There was a precedence. Let me keep going. The precedence that's established in my household, I'm talking about my family, we don't disrespect our elders. If I was ever caught disrespecting another adult, my teeth would literally get knocked out my mouth. I'm not playing. No, I'm not asking you to agree with it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm asking you to pay attention to what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you about the concept of the word precedence, what it means. The precedence in my household, you don't disrespect adults. No adult. Okay, you don't. Okay? The precedence that was established in my household is we're hard workers. The precedence that was established in my household, we are believers. We believe that we can do anything through Christ who strengthens us. I'm talking about the precedent. This is, in other words, every time I say that word, precedence, to me it means this is how we do things. This is the establishment of what it is, of how we do things. Okay? Is this making sense to you? I told you this was a tough call for me to do, and thanks to the Holy Spirit, I'm doing a pretty good job. Okay? I want to make this clear. These two words, I promise you, are going to take you so far in life if you really meditate on this call. The word positioning and the word precedence. Don't worry, we're not done yet. I'm going to make it real clear on how this really applies to everything you're doing. Everything. I promise you. I don't got this wrong. I've got this 1,000,000,000% right. And I'm trying to take my time on rolling this out to you because I want every listener to understand this. Okay? So I was just showing you some examples of, in my household, how I was brought up, the precedent that was established. Okay, let's keep going. I went to Catholic schools. Does it mean Catholic schools are better than public schools? Absolutely not. All I want to tell you is that in the Catholic elementary school and high school that I went to, there was a precedent established of a dress code. This is the precedent. Like, we had to wear uniforms every day. We had to go to mass. I think we went to mass at least once a week. This is the precedent. This is what we do. Right? Okay? And again, as I'm giving you all these illustrations, my hope is that you guys you're picking up what I'm putting down. I want you to get this stuff. Now, I want to ask you a question before we go any deeper. What precedents are you setting? What precedents are you setting? You're probably thinking, well, what do you mean, Monster? You talking about business? You talking about personal? Are you talking about spirituality? Are you talking about health? I'm talking about everything. What precedents are you setting? What precedents are you setting? Now, when you're establishing a precedent, all it means, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be consistent on doing your thing. You know, when I was first coming up as a young man, to be honest with you, I used to be kind of embarrassed about my family and how we love to praise God and we'd shout and scream and, you know, and speak in tongues and all this stuff. I used to be kind of embarrassed to bring my friends to church with us because I didn't want them to see my mom jumping around and praising God. And and sweat flying and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, this just seems crazy, right? Because you know why? Because when I went to my Catholic school, right, during the week, and we go to Mass, and there's nothing wrong with Catholics, but, it's very quiet, it's very subdued, you know what I mean? It's not loud, and here it is on Sunday. I'm going to my Pentecostal church, and they're jumping around and sweating going on and praising. It was just two different worlds. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, this don't look so cool. Okay? But guess what? My mom, my grandparents, they continued to stay consistent towards what they believed. They didn't change, not even for their own child. They stayed consistent. And eventually, I came to know this is how my mom, my dad, my grandparents, this is how they praise God. This is what they believe in. So it went from a place of maybe I was laughing at it, maybe I made mockery with it, maybe I didn't understand it, I was a little ashamed early on, and then it got to a place where I started to grow, and I understood, and I began to respect it. And I began to understand, don't ask mama to watch a football game on Sunday. Don't ask mama, can we go to the park on Sunday? Don't ask mama, can you go to the basketball game? Because she's going to tell you, you know what? No, I'm going to church. Because there was a precedent established. Again, to all of us listening, what precedents are we establishing? What precedents are you establishing? What precedent are you establishing? See, what happens is when you establish a precedent, and again, when I say establish a precedent, all it means is be consistent doing your thing. Whatever your thing is, be consistent. Let me give you an example. When you think of Michael Jordan, what comes to mind? Basketball winner. In my mind, greatest of all time. When you think of Kobe Bryant, what comes to mind? Basketball winner, one of the best to play the game. Right? When you think of Tiger Woods, me personally, I think of golfer. Yeah, he had some setbacks. Every man does. He's bounced back, still one of the greatest golfers to play of all time. I think he's a winner. You see what I'm saying? You see that, ladies and gentlemen? They have established a precedent in our mind. How did they do that? How did they do that? Because they were consistent at what? At doing their thing. They were consistent. For those of you in sales and marketing, when you think of Eric Worre, you think of, man, he's a winner. Why? Because he's a consistent. For those of you that know Romacio Fulcher in terms of building a network marketing dynasty in a big business, I'm respected in that field. Why am I respected? Because I'm a winner. I'm consistent. I have established a precedent. I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to break it down to you. This is why it's so important. The Bible talks about that whatever you put your hands to, give it your all. The Bible teaches us this. Whatever you put your hands to, you give it your all. The Bible says it is much better to have a good name than riches and fame. Because have you ever heard somebody say, your name precedes you? Have you ever heard somebody say, your name precedes you? That means I don't even know you personally, but I've heard all about you because of the reputation and the precedents that you've established, either good or bad. I want to teach you, no matter whatever it is you do, you must establish a precedent. Now, let me just tell you, along your journey to establishing a precedent, it's not easy because you're gonna face a lot of resistance. You're gonna face a lot of friction. To all of the young ladies out there, no, don't go there. Let me say it this way. You're gonna establish a lot of friction. There's always gonna be people pulling you, trying to get you to do this, trying to get you to do that. Listen, I'm just telling you, life is gonna try and push you around. Life is gonna try and persuade you. Life is gonna try and influence you to do things a certain type of way. And you have to be consciously aware that when you start doing things a certain type of way, little by little, you are establishing a precedent. Please tell me you're learning something on this call. Please tell me you're getting this. You have to be, listen, write that down. You have to be consciously aware that when you start doing whatever it is you're doing, you're going to, after a while, you will have become consistent at something. If you're consistently losing, people will start to look at you as a loser. If you're consistently weak, people will begin to look at you as you're consistently weak. If you're consistently a pushover, people will start to look at you as, man, I can push him around. I can push her around. She's a pushover. He's a pushover. If you're very easy, I'll let you define what that means. But if you're very easy, people are going to start to define you as the precedence you're establishing. You're very easy. If you're Mr. Bad Boy, you're always, always, very bad and always defiant, always want to break the rules. And, man, this guy right here, he's a rule breaker. The point I'm making to you, and as we focus in on business for the last couple of minutes here, whatever it is you put your hands to, we're talking about business right now, whatever it is, make sure you establish a winning precedent. I don't care if you're selling peanuts. One of my good friends, one of my best friends, I remember, listen to me, you got to hear this story because we're going to close out with this. I'll tell you who he is. His name is Damon Crump. Damon Crump. Man, he's just a man's man. He's an absolutely rock star of an individual. I mean, a man's man. Real quick, Damon Crump, he's in his mid-40s. He knew he was looking for residual income. He believed in the concept of residual income. What does that mean? Residual income is where you do something one time and you get paid over and over and over again for doing something once. Doesn't that sound good? So he knew he was looking for a business that would give him residual income. And long story short, Damon was invited years ago to a presentation to look at a presentation about women's sanitary napkins. I said women's sanitary napkins. If you don't know what that is, gentlemen, that means pads. We're talking about, women, they have their cycle every month and they, have to have some type of pad or some type of tampon or whatever. So he went to a presentation. And, Damon is a man. He doesn't wear those type of things, right? But he knew that they were so valuable that women had to, use a tampon or a pad every 30 days. And from a business perspective, he said to himself, if this pad is different, this could be a very, very lucrative business. Everybody laughed at Damon. Man, are you going to be selling pads? Are you kidding me? You're a man. How in the world are you going to sell pads? You don't know anything about that. Everybody laughed at him. But Damon was very sure of what he was looking for. He wanted a business that had residual income. He wanted something he didn't have to sell. He didn't have to convince people every single week to buy it. They were going to buy it anyway, as long as it worked. Well, let me fast forward the story. The young man now is making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars every year, soon to be millions of dollars every month from selling these pads. My point to you, ladies and gentlemen, he has established a precedent on winning. No matter what you put your hands to, make sure you find a way to win. When people think of your name, they want to think of your name as synonymous with the word winning. I don't know what Romacio is doing these days. All I know, wherever you find him, I can promise you he's going to be winning. You say, well, why is that? It's because it's the precedent that I've established. If I'm going to do it, whatever it is, I'm going to find a way to win. Period. End of story. You say, well, why? It's not about the money. It's about my name is tied to it. My brand is tied to it. My philosophy, my spirit, my DNA is all over that thing. So I have to win because that's who I am. I want you to understand, even though we're just focusing on business for the last few minutes of this call, I don't want you to take this word precedent and think it's just about business. Let me give you an example. Do you know I'm 43 years old? Do you understand that my mom is 70? Do you understand that if I was to be in front of my mom talking crazy, cussing out my mouth, do you understand right now, ladies and gentlemen, as a grown adult, my mom would slap me across the room in front of you? You understand why? Because there has been A precedent has been established. You don't do that, Romacio. You don't talk to your mother that way. You don't talk to your kinfolks that way, period. I want you to understand the power of this word precedent. Now, I want you to relate it to your business. Now, what I really want you to do is I want you to meditate on this call. Even if you understood 80%, I want you to listen to it again. Listen to this call again, and I want you to really, really try and understand the word positioning. Do you understand how you have to position yourself? You got to put yourself in position. Right now, I'm working on some pretty big projects right now, and I've put myself in a good position. And that's the first thing I did, right? The second thing I do is I establish a precedence. I establish a precedence of winning. I establish a precedence of how I'm different. Oh, we're not the same old. I'm not the same old. I do this in everything I do. For you single girls and you single men out there, man, you need to understand that. Positioning and precedence. You know, I once upon a time heard a man say something. He said, listen, it's very hard to change in front of a woman's eye. In other words, what you start off with, that's what she's going to come to know you as. It's very difficult to change in front of a woman's eye. So you better be careful on what you start. In other words, what that means, you better be careful on the precedents that you establish, because that's what she's going to come to know. Hey, listen, guys, this call has been absolutely a tall order. I hope and pray I was able to meet the order. Something in my spirit told me we needed to teach on this. This call is invaluable. If you take some time to meditate on what we've spoke on positioning and precedence, I promise you it will open your eyes to see something you have been missing. This is very important. These philosophies and principles that we're teaching, they apply to everything that you do. I pray that you at least re-listen to this call. No matter who you are, whether you're a businessman, businesswoman, or not, re-listen to this. I'm telling you, I'm passing innocent jewels. I'm passing jewels to innocent children. I'm giving you right now the secrets of the 1%ers. We understand the power of positioning, and we understand the power of precedence. Hey, listen, as I always say, in all that you do, don't ever forget, there's nobody any greater than you. Hey, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next week on our Sunday Keep It Pro training call. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye-bye, everybody.